I possess far more than what's typical for an urban setting. Therefore, it seems to me that Joel NBA is really tearing into Paul George after he revealed confidential discussion from the 76ers to the public. And genuinely, Joel is justified in his reaction. These leaks unveil internal fractures like we've never seen before. I have all the essentials. Let's dive in. The deception that rattled Philadelphia. The 2024-25 season for the Philadelphia 76ers kicked off with dreams of a championship, equipped with a star-studded lineup, including Joel, NBA, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey. Plus, the optimistic vibe stemming from the signing of a veteran all-star to their already impressive team. By November, aspirations had devolved into a calamity that would lay bare the profound rifts within one of the NBA's most examined teams. The Philadelphia 76ers faced a rough beginning, stumbling to a shocking 2-11 record, casting doubt over the team's chances for a championship. The early setbacks extended beyond mere statistics. They highlighted deeper problems festering underneath. Joel Embiid, the 2023 NBA MVP and the team's key player, was grappling with his ongoing lateness to team activities, including meetings, which sparked tension in a locker room that crucially needed cohesion. The turning point emerged when seasoned guard Kyle Lowry called for a players-only meeting in November 2024. Such gatherings hold immense significance in professional sports. Confidential retreats where athletes can openly discuss matters that are too delicate for the public eye. They're designed to be secure environments where responsibility can thrive, free from outside judgment or media oversight. What transpired in that Philadelphia meeting space was intended to remain confidential, upheld by the unspoken rules that guide locker rooms in all sports. During this private discussion, an extraordinary event unfolded that would irreversibly alter the relationship between the NBA and his fellow players. At only 24, Tyrese Maxey took the initiative to address the NBA about his late arrivals, despite the age gap with the former MVP. This wasn't a hostile move or an attempt to assert dominance. Instead, it was a teammate encouraging another to improve, to exemplify leadership, and to recognize the impact of his behavior on the team's atmosphere and spirit. However, for Tyrese Maxey to voice this concern isn't as significant an issue as Joel and Embiid recognized. After all, it's clear he's been arriving late and was confronted about it. That's not the core problem at hand. The main problem lies in someone's blatant disregard for the impact this event has on Joel and Embiid, especially considering the prominence of the Philadelphia 76. The actual confrontation was quite short. As per Embiid, the whole interaction spanned just around 30 seconds. It wasn't the fiery, dramatic clash that the media would later portray. Instead, it involved a young leader urging a seasoned superstar to elevate his game, expressed with the respect and clarity that championship-caliber teams demand. Maxey, a young player who had stepped up as a prominent voice within the team, was merely urging his teammate to establish a benchmark for everyone to adhere to. However, the subsequent events would dismantle the essential trust that professional teams rely on to operate smoothly. The next day, on November 18, 2024, the media leaked the details of that meeting, with ESPN providing an in-depth account of Maxey's clash with Embiid. It wasn't just a general piece about team issues or vague hints at locker room discord. Instead, it consisted of specific revelations about a private discussion that was intended to stay under wraps. The disclosures rattled the foundation of the organization and reached far beyond its walls. Embiid's first response was one of sheer outrage and a sense of betrayal, referring to the individual behind it as a despicable person during a press conference soon after the news broke. This was more than mere anger over being criticized for lateness. It was the fury of a person who felt deeply let down by those he believed he could count on absolutely. The breach was not only about the specifics of the leaked information. The essence of trust is fundamental in professional interactions. Stephen A. Smith, with nearly 30 years of experience in NBA locker rooms, highlighted that this violation crosses a critical boundary. The integrity of the locker room goes beyond mere confidentiality. It's about fostering a space where tough discussions can take place, accountability can thrive, and teams can resolve issues privately before they escalate into media frenzies. The timing and circumstances of this treachery rendered it especially painful. The 7-6 Airs were grappling with a dismal 2-11 record, facing injuries to crucial players while trying to mesh Paul George into the roster. The squad required cohesion and faith in one another like never before. Yet instead, they were met with a public revelation of their internal disputes that would haunt them for the remainder of the season and beyond. Paul George voiced his discontent on his podcast, P with Paul George, pointing out that the meeting lacked the confrontational nature that would justify such a public leak. As a seasoned player who entered the squad with hopes of winning a title, his viewpoint added significant depth to the extent of damage caused by this trust violation. The impact stretched beyond the NBA, undermining the team's cohesion at a crucial moment. Moreover, the leak had wider consequences for the public's image of NBA's leadership. Given his prominence, media coverage intensified the situation, amplifying it beyond reality. What initially should have remained a private issue among players spiraled into a national conversation regarding the professionalism and leadership in the NBA. The breach of confidentiality not only shattered locker room trust, but also cast NBA in a light of unprofessionalism, which he felt unjustly exaggerated the ongoing critique of his leadership approach. It was no longer merely an issue of tardiness. It transformed into a representation of all the long-held doubts concerning NBA's dedication and leadership skills. As the narrative progressed over the season, it became evident this was not an isolated incident that would fade away easily. The treachery had instigated a significant transformation in how NBA perceived his connections within the organization, paving the way for choices that would affect not only the rest of the 2024-25 season, but possibly the entire trajectory of the Philadelphia 76ers franchise. The ramifications of NBA's choice. In a July 2025 ESPN feature by Datun Akintoye, NBA disclosed that he was aware of the individual responsible for leaking the meeting information, a revelation that complicated an already intricate scenario further. This situation transcended mere anonymous betrayal. It forced NBA to scrutinize particular individuals within the organization, acutely aware that one had breached his trust in an essential manner. The mental strain of harboring that knowledge, of engaging with teammates and staff while aware that one among them had betrayed his trust, is significant. For him, trust resembles a vast, not merely an issue, but perhaps a preoccupation shaped in a burdensome manner. A notable event from the previous season was the leak following a confidential meeting, which he discussed with me and continues to weigh heavily on his mind. Even though he knows who was at fault, the NBA opted not to reveal their identity publicly, asserting that what's done is done. This choice reflects a form of maturity and professionalism, yet it also underscores the persistent unease that such knowledge engenders. Maintaining anonymity allowed the NBA to sidestep further public turmoil, yet it also fostered an ongoing cloud of doubt and mistrust within the locker room. The gravest outcome of this treachery manifested in how the NBA would handle future team dynamics. He noted that the violation of trust was a critical matter, stating, "It's challenging to be among individuals who engage in such actions." It circles back to the trust issue. Once that's breached, don't count on me joining in on any team discussions again. That's simply not going to occur. This wasn't merely an impulsive response in a heated situation. This represented a carefully thought-out, intentional choice by the franchise's key player to drastically alter his approach to the team construction process. The NBA's position highlights a wider issue of trust among teammates, interpreting the leak as a disloyalty that jeopardizes team unity, especially considering that the discussion was intended to tackle internal issues confidentially. The ramifications of this choice reach well beyond merely skipping a few gatherings. His decision to abstain from upcoming meetings makes a bold statement, potentially restricting his involvement in crucial team-building opportunities, particularly for a 7-6 squad already dealing with chemistry challenges after a lackluster season. These private discussions are where teams confront their most urgent concerns, cultivate accountability, and foster the transparent communication vital for achieving championship success. Embiid's remark insinuates that the source of the leak may still be affiliated with the 7-6 heirs, as he hinted at the possibility of their continued presence. This insight fosters an ongoing climate of tension and unease within the organization. If the individual behind the leak remains with the organization, be it as a player, coach, or part of the staff, then every upcoming meeting, every confidential discussion, and each effort to foster team unity is overshadowed by a lingering threat of treachery. This situation's psychological ramifications on NBA cannot be understated. Datun Akintoye's insights indicated that NBA faced considerable stress during the EU season, even pursuing therapy to cope with the mental and emotional challenges. The leak further complicated what was already a tough season in terms of both physical and emotional demands. I believe the past year has been truly transformative for him. In a way, he's discovering his greater reliance on others, yet simultaneously grasping that he should seek to conform to their expectations less. This creates a fascinating dynamic. He confided in me about his therapy sessions, where he's been delving into his emotions. His choice to step back from team meetings marks a significant shift in his leadership style within the NBA. As a 7-time All-Star and former MVP, boasting career stats of 27.7 points, 11.0 rebounds, and 3.7 assists, he is the cornerstone of the franchise. Nevertheless, his sporadic presence and voluntary withdrawal from team gatherings raise substantial concerns regarding his leadership methods. The timing of this choice raises significant concerns considering the issues faced by the 7-6 heirs. Concluding the 2024-25 season with a disappointing 24-58 record, the team has now missed the playoffs for the first time since the 2016-17 season. This was an organization that entered the season with hopes of a championship, only to achieve one of the worst records in the NBA. The blend of on-court disappointment and off-court turmoil created a dire situation, which the league further exacerbated. Ironically, the meeting was convened specifically to tackle the team's challenges and explore solutions for enhancing their performance. Rather than acting as a force for constructive transformation, it turned into a fountain of further chaos that burdened the squad all season long. The information spill also triggered widespread consequences, influencing not just the NBA's response. Both the league and Paul George's replies indicate a mutual feeling that the leak was unwarranted and harmful, likely instigated by someone, be it an agent or player, trying to manipulate how the public views the team. This implies that the betrayal of trust wasn't merely a trivial blunder or idle chatter, but potentially a calculated effort to sway the story surrounding the team and its members. The larger backdrop of the 7-6 Airs season exacerbates the difficulties of the current situation. The NBA star featured in only 19 contests because of a persistent left meat injury that demanded arthroscopic surgery in April 2025, effectively ending his season. Similarly, Paul George had knee surgery following a summer injury, while Tyrese Maxey faced a hamstring issue that sidelined him early in the year. These three managed to play together for merely 15 games, logging a total of just 6 minutes on the floor as a unit. This lack of on-court synergy, coupled with the off-the-court turmoil stemming from the leak, hindered the team's ability to cultivate the chemistry and trust essential for achieving success at the elite level. The long-term consequences of the NBA's choice to opt out of team meetings reach well beyond this isolated season. This move establishes a benchmark for future conflict resolution and accountability, signaling to younger athletes how to react when trust falters. Additionally, it inaugurates a leadership void that must be addressed by other players, significantly reshaping the team's hierarchy and decision-making dynamics. There's a notable history of internal leaks within the NBA that have led to team disarray. The case of Joel Embiid with the Philadelphia 76ers stands out as a recent and particularly harmful instance of betrayal within the locker room, marking a significant event in NBA lore. Leaked information has repeatedly disrupted the cohesion of professional basketball teams. The history of these leaks is fraught, showing how private talks and internal conflicts often spill into the public domain, leading to dire impacts on team unity, player bonds, and ambitions for titles. Recognizing this wider backdrop clarifies the NBA's intense response and highlights how the league's culture of leaks poses an ongoing risk to success. A notable instance of a leak undermining team chemistry took place during Kobe Bryant's time with the Los Angeles Lakers. Let me share a brief story about it. Take a look at this. Examine each one of them. Validate all of them while confirming this. Someone mentions Kobe Bryant. This is a genuine account. Someone mentions Kobe Bryant. Before the game, Kobe entered the locker room, approached every player at their stalls, and thrust a newspaper in their faces. "You said this, MFF? You said this, MFF?" He challenged, going down the line to each one. He was signaling to them, saying, "Hey, why are you being dishonest with me? Are you really going to deny it?" He wanted them to understand his true feelings towards them. This situation clearly highlights the anxiety and distrust that leaks can generate in a locker room. When confidential talks are exposed, the repercussions extend beyond just the person in the spotlight. It taints the whole atmosphere, as every individual turns into a likely antagonist. The mental strain of uncertainty over whom to rely on fosters an environment where authentic teamwork becomes nearly unattainable. The Miami Heat's Big Three era serves as a warning about how internal conflicts can be manipulated through strategic disclosures. During the chaotic years of 2010 to 2014, many stories surfaced regarding friction among LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, alongside issues with coach Erik Spoelstra. Although the Heat clinched 2 championships, the relentless flow of rumors about practice disagreements, playing time disputes, and clashes of personality generated persistent distractions that the squad had to navigate instead of leveraging. The damaging aspect of the Heat situation lay in how agents and representatives exploited media leaks to further their clients' agendas. Reports surfaced about certain players' dissatisfaction with their roles, their desire for more opportunities, or feelings of being undervalued. Information that could only have been leaked by someone privy to private discussions. This environment fostered a sense among players that speaking candidly could lead to their words being misinterpreted and weaponized in public discourse. The Golden State Warriors, despite their remarkable achievements, also faced several detrimental leaks that revealed underlying discord. A significant incident occurred during the 2016 to 2017 season when reports surfaced detailing intense confrontations between Draymond Green and Kevin Durant, including allegations of Green hurling insults and questioning Durant's dedication to the team. These revelations had several effects. They quenched the public's intrigue regarding the super team's inner dynamics, yet they also inflicted long-term harm on relationships that ultimately influenced Durant's choice to depart. The timing of the Warriors' leaks was especially detrimental. Several of the most harmful stories emerged during pivotal playoff moments when the team required peak concentration and cohesion. The psychological impact of these leaks is significant and cannot be overlooked. Rivals might exploit the widespread awareness of internal strife to focus on particular individuals or dynamics during competitions, aware that unresolved issues could emerge under stress. The Cleveland Cavaliers' championship run in 2016 nearly faced disruption due to numerous leaks about friction between LeBron James and coach Tyronn Lue, along with conflicts over player rotations and strategies. Throughout the season, stories surfaced regarding intense confrontations in practice, strategic disagreements, and uncertainties around leadership roles. Although the Cavaliers managed to navigate these challenges to secure their landmark title, insiders later disclosed that the ongoing flow of leaked details generated considerable tension, diverting the team's focus towards public relations instead of basketball. Similarly, the Oklahoma City Thunder's approach to the James Harden trade in 2012 highlights how leaked information can damage relationships and shift the direction of a franchise. Whispers began to circulate about the team's internal discussions surrounding Harden's contract, revealing particulars of offers, the ownership's budget limitations, and management's priorities. These revelations not only publicly embarrassed the franchise, but also armed Harden and his agents with leverage to pressure the team, ultimately leading to a trade that would linger as a regret for the organization for many years. The Chicago Bulls dynasty was not spared from detrimental leaks either. In the 1997 to 1998 season, which marked Michael Jordan's last with the team, numerous stories surfaced regarding strained relations between Jordan and general manager Jerry Krause, alongside conflicts about Phil Jackson's future. These leaks turned what should have been a tribute to one of the greatest teams in NBA history into a sensational spectacle, contributing to the disintegration of a championship core that still had the potential to compete at the highest echelon. In the recent past, the Brooklyn Nets' fleeting super team venture featuring Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden was persistently compromised by a flow of leaked details regarding discord among players, coaching conflicts, and clashes of egos. Stories surfaced of teammates doubting each other's dedication, debating game plans, and feeling grievances over media focus and shot allocation. These disclosures fostered a detrimental atmosphere that led to the team's collapse, despite their elite talent. A striking trend is observable here. Once the vital bond of locker room trust is breached, restoration becomes an arduous task. Participants begin to censor themselves during gatherings, steering clear of candid discussions about group problems and isolating into smaller, more trustworthy cliques. The transparent dialogue essential for championship-level teams becomes unattainable when individuals are left questioning which player, coach, or staff member might be sharing details with the press. The situation surrounding Joel Embiid is particularly troubling as it aligns with a more extensive historical trend. The leak from the 760 SXS meeting signifies a deep breach of trust that has unraveled team cohesion for years. Embiid's decision to distance himself entirely from upcoming meetings indicates his awareness of this historical context and his intent to shield himself from further disloyalty. The involvement of agents, representatives, and team staff in these information leaks is crucial. Often, the details that surface can't solely be attributed to players. It necessitates individuals who possess insights from various angles and a deep understanding of team interactions. This situation intensifies the existing distrust among players, as they must question whether front office members, coaches, trainers, or other personnel are divulging confidential information. Additionally, the current social media environment has drastically heightened the effect of these leaks, where previously a harmful article might be found in just one newspaper or magazine. Today's leaked data quickly disseminates across numerous platforms, creating immediate and ongoing strains that teams find challenging to address. Reactions from fans, highlighted in the current scenario, can integrate into the narrative, bringing more pressure and examination to delicate team interactions. The Philadelphia 760 SAXS are currently facing the same core dilemma that has plagued many championship aspirants in NBA history. How can trust be restored after it has been broken? Historical evidence shows that only a handful of teams managed to tackle this issue without undergoing major changes in personnel or facing prolonged periods of turmoil. Internal conflict complicates essential decisions. Roster adjustments, playing time allocations, tactical choices, and resource management must be motivated solely by game strategy and the pursuit of victory. Continuous friction and clashing priorities in the front office or between coaches and management can lead to decisions that lack clarity. Choices may be swayed by political dynamics or the need to satisfy specific groups instead of what is truly beneficial for the team. This often yields less than ideal results that diminish the team's performance on the court. Thriving organizations maintain a sense of stability and address conflicts discreetly. In contrast, the present condition of the 760 SXS shows a clear lack of sincere attempts to foster trust, enhance communication, and ensure everyone is unified in their goals from leadership to the coaching staff. The team's capabilities this season are being compromised. For the NBA and the 760 SXS, moving ahead necessitates addressing not only their current predicament, but also the wider climate of suspicion that has affected the NBA for many years. Time is running out, And as days go by without resolution, the chance to rectify these problems diminishes. We appreciate you tuning in. If you'd like to check out another intriguing video, click on one of the options displayed on your screen now.